classes by industry pros. Think film design, productivity. Literally, if you want to learn how to bake a sourdough bread, painting, sewing, really name a creative pursuit, and there's something on there. If you're a content creator, a videographer, photographer, and you want to hone in on your skills, I could not recommend them more. And generally, if you want to carve out more time for your hobbies and have dedicated time and space for it, I find that Skillshare has been so helpful because I feel like I'm not doing it alone and I'm really learning the skill, and that's been amazing. Obviously, I would highly recommend you checking them out, and the first 500 people who sign up using the link in my description box will get a month of free trial, so you can get started today and have fun learning more about your hobbies and creative pursuits. This is also how I got started with Skillshare, and I'm really grateful that they're now sponsoring this video. So enjoy the rest of this video. Hobbies. Okay, we talked about music production, really working on that, and I have a couple other things that I like to do. If you've been here before, you know that I crochet sometimes, and I read a lot, of course, and I paint. I've made videos about those things. I love journaling. I really go around like nobody's business. I try new things all the time, and I love it. My current, well, I think that it might turn into an obsession. It's not yet, but it might, is sewing. When I was 20, 21, I worked at a vacation park, where I worked as a kids entertainer. So we would do the kids dances on stage. I would be in a mascot sometimes. I gave archery workshops, and we also had an atelier where you could build. We did slime making workshops, everything. And later we got a sewing machine, and I kind of became the head of the sewing machine. People were turning to me for advice on it, and I figured out how to use it through YouTube tutorials and stuff. And let's just say I spent a lot of my time when I worked there making scrunchies. I even made tutorials on sheets for kids to learn with, like use with their parents and things like that. So I have a basic knowledge of how to sew, but I've never sewn anything from scratch that isn't a scrunchie, like a little accessory. So I would love to make some clothes, especially because I am a tall woman and finding trousers is really difficult ones that fit right. And so I would love to make my own sweatpants, for example, because I can just fit them to my body type. I would love that. I think it's such a good life skill to have, and to alter clothes instead of, replacing, because overconsumption, blah blah blah. So I got the sewing machine out. Actually, my mom did. We have this very, very old sewing machine that is actually from Toyota, and she really wanted to show me how it would work before I would use it on my own. I don't know if you guys have parents who are similar. I was like, Mother, I'm 25, literally, and I have experience with the sewing machine. But she was like, no, I just want to be there, and then you can do it on your own. Just want to show you how it works. I was like, okay, actually, that's kind of nice because it's been so long, and I don't want to ruin it because it belonged to my grandmother. So I can feel the ancestral history in that machine whenever I use it, And it was a really fun activity to just have her explain was just, I chopped off the bottom part. But then, you know, the bottom seam is just ugly, and I would tuck it into jeans, but I don't know, I kept procrastinating getting the sewing machine out and making the tops fit. So I altered 3 tops that day, which is amazing because I just gained 3 tops and without spending a cent. So that was amazing, and it's such a fun activity to do. And then I altered some trousers that were, you know, just slightly too short, but the bottom seam is often like folded up, so there's a lot more fabric at the bottom. So I folded it out and stitched along the bottom to still have a neat, you know, like a clean finished look. But I gained a bit of fabric at the bottom, and so they fit a bit longer, just the way I like them. So that's very exciting. Of course, I gained a pair of trousers again as well, because I wasn't really grabbing them, and that seemed wasteful to me. So I did that, and now I am literally having dreams about making clothes. And so I'm just looking for patterns that I would like to try out. But because I do have some perfectionism in me, I find it a bit hard to start. So if you have any pattern suggestions, let me know, send me links. And yeah, my summer wardrobe is going to be fire. It's going to be over for everyone. Once I learn how to use that sewing machine fully to its full potential, it's over for you bitches. And I can't wait to make stuff for my friends and to make tote bags, things like that. Oh, so exciting. I completely forgot to give you an update. I think I've only talked about this in my vlogs. Actually, I don't even know if I talked about it in an ASMR video, but I started volunteering 2 mornings a week at a thrift store because I've just been lonely and isolated because I work from home. I don't have coworkers, and my friends live far away, and it's just been so hard to see them, and it's been weighing me down so much that I felt like I needed to get out and take a step in any direction. I was so stuck. I talked about this a lot, but I wanted to step in a direction. This is going to tie into the hobbies. We'll get to it. Bear with me, or fall asleep, whatever you want. But I didn't know what to do, if I wanted to take a part-time job or anything, but I wanted to invest my time still in YouTube because I believe in what we're doing. So getting another job and being reliant, like having that responsibility, kind of felt like a lot. Also with my energy levels in my burnout recovery, I'm also scared to go back to a regular job, just because, I don't know, as you may understand, with the way that I've been feeling for the past 2 years, if you've been around for a while, it was quite scary to fall on my face so hard, basically, and be so ill from overworking. And so it's just kind of a big step for me to start a job again, especially somewhere new. So I decided to start by volunteering, and I chose a thrift store because, first of all, half my wardrobe is thrifted. I love thrifting so much, and I really believe in the concept of it. And the thrift store that I started working at has a cafe attached as well. I used to go there all the time, and they have a lot of diversity in their employees, with people who are struggling with their mental health or physical abilities. There are a lot of volunteers, but there are also people who work there full time, so there is such a wide range of the way that people work there. And so after some contemplation, I sent out an email to the manager, and exciting because I feel a little bit more directly like I'm contributing something to my direct surroundings, which was a big thing with, working online is a beautiful thing, but I don't feel like I'm just sending and I'm receiving digitally, but I'm not feeling in-person energies from people, and as an extrovert, I do really need that to feel healthy. So to be in person with people and to feel like I'm contributing something to my own surroundings feels really good. And then on top of that, being able to use my creative skills to do a project there and gain experience in that as well just feels so good, and I love the vibe there. Everyone is really kind to each other, and so I've been really excited about that. And 2 mornings a week gives me enough time to still do YouTube, to have a little bit more to talk about, and to still see my friends and do my other things. So I'm just getting to know how that works. And then maybe if I go back to the city, I would not be at the thrift store, but get like a part-time job maybe, or whatever. But it feels really good that it's a volunteering position, because if one week I just want to focus more on videos or have a project and I'm not available that day, I'm a lot more flexible and they are much less reliant on me, which is kind of perfect for me because I don't know, I just want to do this for them and obviously for myself, and having that freedom of movement still, where, like I said, if I just want to film or if I'm going away or whatever, it's not like a job where I have to take leave and things like that. So this felt like the safest way for me to reintegrate and to figure out how my energy levels are when I'm doing this. So very proud of myself for that, because my mental health was not good. I'm pretty nuanced. I try to be very nuanced online because I'm just capturing moments, and people are tuning into a moment that by the time it's uploaded has already passed. So I get a lot of advice on emotions that aren't relevant for me anymore often. I don't know if that makes sense, but I try to be, just a little bit more nuanced in my videos, but that also means that sometimes I kind of downplay what I'm going through a bit, which isn't bad, but just, I don't know, I think I just want to emphasize that I'm so proud of myself for doing this and taking that step, for talking to friends, for reaching out to my therapist again, for going to my doctor again, because I felt myself just slipping away a little. And having been in therapy on and off, for years, I have so many tools to recognize when I need to, reach out to people and take action, and so that feels good. And also, if you are also struggling with your mental health, and especially in this season, you are not alone. And those tiny little things, like maybe you brushed your teeth today, maybe you just opened the window, maybe you gave a compliment to a stranger today, or did something, that should be celebrated. And for me, a couple of years ago, reaching out and starting something at that thrift store would have been nothing. Like it wouldn't be a big deal at all. But because of everything I went through, it just felt like it just felt a lot bigger of a step to reach out, to put myself out there, to plan a meeting and to go there and have that coffee, and then to show up for your first day and showing up for a second day. Those things are all steps, and each step is worthy of being celebrated, because I don't know, it can just be so incredibly hard. So I hope that you are also celebrating the little moments. I really can have a tendency to look at the negative things about myself, the things that I should be doing but I'm not doing, instead of reframing and looking at all the things I am doing. And some weeks I'm better at that than other weeks. I don't know, I've just been enjoying my hobbies. I'm a little bit in my vlogger era on my second channel, and creatively that's been such a lovely outlet to, you know, just improve my skills in editing as well, because as you can probably imagine, there's not a whole lot going on with editing ASMR, so it's been nice to get to do that on my second channel. And yeah, I've just really been enjoying leaning into my creative pursuits a lot more, and I think that that's also the result of me coming out of my rut. It's nice to feel that again, you know, and if you've lost your creative spark a little bit, just know that it'll come back to you. It's like everything is always in motion and goes through phases, and you know, just trust that it will come back to you. And if you need a little push, things like Skillshare, taking classes, looking up tutorials, it can help you so much to inspire you. Or, you know, meeting up with a friend who also does something creative, so you kind of have a little bit of a, I don't know, a bit of a push, a bit of a kickstart in your hobbies. Because sometimes with hobbies, I think as well, it can kind of feel like going to the gym sometimes. You know it's good, you know it's good for you, but the whole process of getting there doesn't feel good. And sometimes it'll feel good once you get home, sometimes it'll feel good when you're at the gym already. It's the same for me sometimes with my hobbies and showing up to the things. I'm like, and then kind of midway, I'm like, this is kind of nice. So yeah, just remember that just because you don't feel motivated before you do it doesn't mean that you won't feel motivated while you're doing it, I guess. Let's get to your questions. Okay. That sounded like Etta Fox. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I think we're going to be talking about friendship and a little bit about love. Are you ready? This one is about love. Recently, my partner, 1 year and a couple months, has been drawing away from me. He stated recently that he gets enough fulfillment from his friendships and he is not wanting to end things, but he's also unsure of what he wants long term. At the same time, he will say he loves me deeply and I'm the best relationship he's had. For a while I was okay to let him sort out his feelings because commitment is big, but I haven't done or asked anything of him that I think would have put pressure on him, I don't think. Anyway, now I'm starting to feel hurt and sad and not sure if I should keep going with it or just end it myself. This is also my first relationship at 25, so I don't know anything. LOL. Heart eye emoji. I appreciate the space to vent. Anytime, baby, anytime. I'm really sorry to hear you go through this. I can't imagine what it's like to have a partner and feeling them slipping away from you while they are still with you. And I can also imagine that that feels unfair. Here's the thing. You deserve someone who's sure of you. However, doubt is also normal and deserves space, so I understand how you can be in a bit of a split in like, what do I do? I don't think that you should just end it yourself. I think you guys need to have a big sit-down conversation and talk about this and lay it all on the table and figure out together what it is that you need from each other, because if he says he gets enough fulfillment from his friendship and he doesn't know what he wants long term and you do see something long term, I think you need to have a big conversation about what it is that you need and how you can. Is my camera going in and out of focus? It's doing weird things, I'm sorry. Because if you're both on a different wavelength, you need to figure out what that is, and you can only do that together, I think. So I don't know if that's just remember that you deserve to be prioritized, and even though it goes in waves and life happens, if he is not willing to compromise or to make you more of a priority or to meet you midway, then I would run. If someone doesn't want to put in effort but also doesn't want to end things, I'm like, sorry, but I'm not here just for your convenience, you know what I mean? So I would write down your questions, I could journal it out a bit, get your thoughts sorted, and then just lay it on the table, be partners about it, and be like, yo, what the fuck is up, Kyle? Step the fuck up. I'm sending you all my love, and keep us posted. Friendship. How do you navigate your friendships in your 20s? I'm turning 22 next week, and I've been thinking about how I don't really have profound friendships, except for one. I think it's because, for the most part, being young, it was hard for me to open up to people, but now I don't know how to make new friends and real connections without being too much in my head. I think that this is a very common thing that you are describing. If you are also a girly in your 20s and you're struggling with friendships, yo, join the club. This is the cozy club where we probably all deal with that in some way. Being in your 20s and navigating friendships is just a very different experience than navigating it in high school. And especially if you are not in college anymore after graduating, things just are so different because you don't have a lot of forced proximity, if that makes sense. I felt like in high school and in college you're around each other all the time, and so friendships can grow a bit more naturally. And I think that friendship is very proximity based and interest based initially. So I feel like in college it was, for some reason, I made less friends, but the connections that I had were deeper because we had a shared interest, while in high school we just had shared trauma from high school. The thing is, making new friends is something that happens gradually and doesn't happen overnight, and is kind of like relationships and dating. Friendship is also special, and you have different levels of friendship, of course, but carving a connection with someone and a relationship with someone takes time and effort and kind of grows organically, not without work, but it takes time. It's like a plant that you nurture and water, and then it will bloom. But if meeting new people with the same interests is difficult, I would definitely suggest trying out, looking up places where you can find community. So where you can find people with the same interests, like at a sport or at an event. If you're into art, like at the theater, strike up sense of equality, and I know that I deserve the same respect back as I give other people. I trust that that will be okay until they prove me otherwise. If you have people around you or acquaintances that you see, maybe you can ask them to hang out one-on-one, or if it's in a group, I don't know, but a bit more often, so that you can see them a bit more often and build that relationship, you know. And profound friendships grow over time. My profound friendships are with people that I have known for 20 years, or 5 years, or 3 years. Those are all periods of years. So if you don't have that yet, like, you're not going to have it tomorrow, but you're going to spend time with people and enjoy that time, and organically that will grow, and one day you're gonna look back and think, oh my god, we have a profound friendship, how did that happen? You know what I mean? Like, you won't try to focus on where you're at right now and the relationship with the person right now instead of where you would want to be in your friendship, if that makes sense. And just also try to enjoy the connections as they are. Maybe this is such ridiculous advice. I have no idea, but I don't really know what else to say, because that is kind of how I navigate things like that. I try to maintain relationships with my more long-distance friends now through FaceTiming with them. You can send memes if you're on social media, which is a fun way to connect, and slowly over time you will build more of a connection. But if you want to deepen friendships, you need to have shared experiences, I believe. So really spending time together and making a memory together, I think that that's very crucial in deepening friendships. You can have so many conversations about things, and that's a beautiful thing, but I also think that the experiences matter a lot as well. So just ask someone out for a coffee or a walk, or if you have a shared hobby, just, you know, fuck it. I moved back to my hometown about 7 or 8 months ago, and I don't have friends here because of issues, and so I'm not really in touch with anyone anymore. And then I walked into a store here, and there was this girl at the cash register, and she had her hair dyed in 2 colors, and I was like, fuck yeah, that's my girl, you know. And that's my type of person, and we started talking, just chit-chatting at the cash register, and then we followed each other on Instagram, and then we just chatted, and I was like, do you want to have a coffee sometime, maybe? And then we did, and it wasn't really a match friendship-wise because we had very different values, and it was like, okay, well, but we had that coffee, and who knows what it could have turned into. But that's kind of how random it can be, and how it can start, and also how it can end, of course, but you never know unless you try. But I think just, you know, continuously, like, getting out there and being open to conversations with people doesn't have to be deep. That will grow, and you'll get to a point where that will happen. And opening up doesn't have to happen right away, and it can happen gradually, you know. So that's my advice and answer. Love outside relationships and labels. I love this. This isn't really a request for advice or anything, but I wanted to yap and hear your thoughts about it. You go, girl. The line between platonic and romantic affection, and how liberating it can be to let go of that. I think it's great how much platonic love has been recognized more in recent years, but I also believe people overthink the bounds of affection and love that are acceptable outside of a romantic relationship. Speaking from experience, I think it's absolutely possible to cuddle or kiss or be in love with someone and not used to seeing that traditional relationship picture, and I had a friend group here in town where everyone was just fucking everybody and making out with everybody, but it was all like, it was not friendship based, it was lust based, and I was like getting sexualized, you know, a lot by male people in my life. I am a straight woman, mostly, I think. I don't, whatever, but I connect this to men because I haven't had this desire with my female friends. However, I do relate to that within a friendship there can be a desire to, you know, make out or cuddle or be affectionate toward each other. Thinking about relationships with male friends that I've had, friendships, but for me those were usually just phases of like, oh, I'm kind of contemplating if I have a crush on this person, and then I kind of fantasize about it, but then that ebbs away. And if I think about my male friends now, and I think about the fact that if they would try to kiss me, I would be like, oh my god, get away from me. I don't know, so I don't know, I'm a romantic, so everything turns romantic in my head. So I think it's really interesting. I just think that what you're describing to me, I would link to just having a crush on your friends. Like, just exploring the thought and enjoying those feelings. Okay, sorry, I got interrupted by very loud noise, but what I wanted to say was that it's more of a phase to me, like exploring crush feelings. But I do want to say, you saying that there doesn't always need to be a label on things, and it shouldn't be limited by an arbitrary line of what is and isn't considered platonic, as long as it would makes both people happy. I couldn't agree more. As long as two people are happy and on the same page about what is happening, and they agree, and they're enjoying themselves. Who is to say anything about that, you know? I know that for some people, like, maybe friends with benefits works, or maybe you have a fling with a friend and go back to friendship. That's, you know, they're beautiful life experiences, and as long as both people are happy with it, that's the best thing, you know, and I couldn't agree more with that. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on that, because I think that it's really interesting, and this is exactly what I want the Cozy Club to be, where you can share your thoughts and we can have a bit of a conversation about that. I really, really appreciate that, so thank you. I am going to leave this video here because there's a lot of construction going on and off. I don't know if you've noticed by all the cuts, but I think I've also yapped long enough. Definitely send in your questions or your yap sessions, even if you want to send me a video fragment where you whisper your question, or an audio file. You can add a WeTransfer link in the submission form as well if you would like to, like, get creative with it, whatever you want. And we can just hang out as besties at this sleepover, you know.